Welcome to Week in Geek, your new comics preview for August 17th. I'm Mike Ortiz.
And I'm the Chris Brown.
What do you got this week?
Well, why should this week be any different than last week? Well, let's start off with a little Flashpoint. Again, as we've said before, we're wrapping these things up. In 2 weeks, we've got that 5 coming anyway. And that'll be the end of Flashpoint, and then we get our relaunch. So this week we've got Abin Sur, Green Lantern #3. This has been pretty good. I've liked it, but it looks like the end of the world. They're starting to tie a lot of these #3s into this war with Wonder Woman and Aquaman. So it really is starting to have more of a cohesive feel, which I like. Then we got Legion of Doom. You got Cyborg on the cover there. They've been trying to position him as a bigger character in all of this because they're obviously going to make him a member of the Justice League.
Yeah.
Which I think is an interesting move. I'm totally okay with it. And this Legion of Doom book's been pretty fun. It's kind of basically been following some villains. Who are we following? We had Plastic Man in the last one. Yeah, more Plastic Man. Then we got Flashpoint the Outsider. We got finally the Manhunters in here. I think this book's been pretty good, primarily because I don't really know. It's a character we don't know. So they can do whatever they want, and they're not possibly going to offend anybody. I like it. I think it's the character is definitely interesting. And I wonder if he's going to have any life after Flashpoint.
I don't know.
I don't know if any of these obscure characters are going to have any life after Flashpoint. Then we've got Wonder Woman and the Furies, #3. And this cover actually is pretty much, almost right in line with the Abin Sur Green Lantern. You got Wonder Woman and Aquaman fighting there, as you can see there. I think Wonder Woman and Aquaman have been two of the more interesting books because it's what the whole thing is kind of linked to. It's this battle between the Atlanteans and the Amazons. So I'm looking forward to see how it ends because obviously we got to push towards what the last issue 5 of Flashpoint and then see what happens. Then I've got I'm going to jump over to some Marvel here. I'm going to go over to some Board Itself stuff. Which has been getting a little bit better. We got Avengers, Fear Itself. Issue 5 wasn't bad. I saw that. Issue 5 wasn't bad. Considering I've been bagging on that book so badly, it wasn't bad compared to the 4 issues that preceded it.
To avoid any spoilers, if you read issue 5, you'll hit the point where you go, well, Franklin Richards can do that. Why doesn't he just fix everything?
Because he promised his dad he wouldn't use his powers. He said that, Mike.
He's a kid. Kids lie to their parents. I lied to my parents, and if I could change the world as a child, I would have.
Franklin Richards is a better human being than you are, then.
Very true.
So we got this Avengers #16. This book's been pretty good. On the front page there, I'm wondering if they're going to finally deal with some more of this Bucky stuff. But it looks like talking heads again, same as it ever was.
A lot of talking in this book.
Same as it ever was. Journey into Mystery has also been fun. We got Journey into Mystery 626. I like young Loki. It makes a little bit more sense that he's an a-hole. Because he's got the whole trickster thing anyway. But now he's a little kid and he's doing the things that little kids do. That works for me.
I had every intention of dumping that book after Thor switched over to the Mighty Thor book. But it's good stuff. Kieran Gillian's a great writer.
He's telling better stories here than I think he was with that Thor story. Basically, he was setting up the story he's going to tell here with everything with Mephisto. So that's okay. That is what it is. Then we got little Superboy. I like this book. I'm kind of bummed out that it's not going to be the same Superboy when we get into the relaunch. I've been saying the whole way through that I don't mind so much the DC relaunch because I'm not that passionate about a lot of the characters, so they're not really going to offend me with any of the changes. I'm not offended by the Superboy changes, but I like the Superboy character. I didn't really want to see anything change with it.
It's not your Superboy.
No, it's not my Superboy. And is this the last issue, or are we going to get a 12th issue out of this? It looks like we got one more.
Yeah, I think they are double shipping that to get it done.
So okay. Then I really liked the first issue of this, Sergio Aragone's Funnies. I thought this was a fun book. It felt like Mad Magazine in the era that I was growing up. Because he was doing all the, him and who was the other guy? Dave, who was doing all the lighter side of stuff?
Don Martin?
Was it Don Martin? There was another guy, Dave something or other.
I don't know.
Like Don Martin and Sergio Aragone, that was my era of Mad Magazine. So this Sergio Aragone's Funnies has been pretty good. It just feels like that. Then, this is a fun one. It's a pick every week. Tiny Titans.
Oh yeah, Tiny Titans.
Oh yeah, and oh yeah, Tiny Titans, and oh yeah, our Baltazar. This book's just
Don't
fun.
forget Franco. Oh yeah,
Franco. Oh yeah, Franco. I don't
Listen
know
to the
Franco
Oh
as
Yeah.
well.
Listen to the Oh Yeah podcast. It's a good podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that they open it up to calls too.
Yeah.
So yeah, this book's just been a lot of fun. It's Tiny Titans is elementary school kids. What can we say that we haven't said already? It's a great book. If you're not reading it, you should. It's got a lot of catching up to do. It's 43 issues in.
And they're not rebooting it.
They're not rebooting it. Then we got Venom. I actually think this book has been good, which is totally shocking to me. It really is, like the way they're kind of blending the Spider-Man kind of stuff, and they're going to blend it into Spider Island here. So all right, that's Spider Island is taking over everything, damn near. I am surprised by how much I like this book. I do not like the Venom character, but it's not the Venom character I don't like. They've done something different. Rick Remender's stuff is great. Looks like wasn't Tony Moore doing the art there?
Tony Moore and Tom Fowler have been going back and
forth. Okay, so this is a Tom Fowler issue. But it still looks good.
Yeah, Fowler's a great artist.
It still looks fine. Then, okay, this is always one of my picks. You always know. Basically, I'm just telling you Walking Dead's out. Walking Dead 88, this book is absolutely fantastic. I did not get a chance to read it yet today, so I'm not even going to flip, because I literally don't want to know anything that happens. After what happened at the end of last issue, I don't want to spoil anybody's fun, but you should already be caught up. Something happens with Carl. We've been worried about Carl. Something happened. Now what? So I'm really, that'll be my, you know what, I'm probably going to read this before I edit tonight. So if your WeekNGeek is late tomorrow, you'll know why. I got reading to do. So that's the bulk of my stack. What are you looking at there?
Well, you got your Flashpoints out of the way first. I'm going to get my DC Retroactives out of the way first.
We got a fun new logo for it, too.
Yeah, right here.
That's fun. I like that.
So yeah, now we are in the 90s, the decade everybody hates.
And I'm just ticked off because there's no holographic
There's
covers.
no foil, there's no holographic
That's not
stuff.
the 90s. No, really? No holograms? No bag? No trading card?
First up, we've got the Flash. However, it looks like it is not. This is one of the ones that's not actually done. I think Brian Augustin may have co-written a little bit.
He did, with Mark Waid.
But this one is written entirely by Augustin with art by Mike Bowden and Joe Sung. Don't know who they are. This is the Wally West Flash, although it looks, his costume looks a little different. It almost looks like it might be that Wallace West Flash who was in the book briefly from an alternate dimension. But yeah, just like they've always been, creators either from the time or in the style of the time doing a story that kind of fits into continuity of the time. So if you were reading The Flash in the 90s and you liked it, well, you're probably not still reading comics today, but on the off chance you are, you can give this a shot. Next up is Batman. Now this is the Batman of the time. This is Alan Grant and Norm Brayfogle. They were doing the book. It was a great run that they had in the book. The ventriloquist is on the cover.
I love the ventriloquist and Scarface.
They really did a great job with those characters. Norm Brayfogle is a great artist. Just flipping through it, it looks like he's still got the chops. So if you were a fan of Batman in the 90s, before his back was broken, give it a shot. And then Wonder Woman. I'm not a Wonder Woman fan. I have not been as keen on the Wonder Woman retroactives, mostly because I wasn't reading the book at the time, so I don't really know how well they fit in. But I was reading the book when Messner Loebs was writing it. Again, a Detroit native.
Great guy.
So I will give this a shot. Hopefully I will respond to this one a little bit more because I actually understand the continuity that this is set in. Next up is kind of an odd choice for me.
It's like he stole one of my picks.
It's Daredevil.
It's like 2 weeks in a row you've done that.
I wasn't even planning on getting the new Daredevil book. The week that issue 1 came out, I skipped it.
Really?
And then because I just figured I'm done with Daredevil.
We watched WeekNGeek and saw.
But then I watched WeekNGeek. And not just us, but all over the internet, podcasts and websites were singing its praises. Other than those people who hate the fact that it is no longer a dark, dreary, depressing, sad book. Some people are kind of stuck on that. I loved the sort of darker tone of the book, but I think it had been going on for a while.
Agreed.
I really enjoyed the feel of this book. And they're not just ignoring everything. You know, this is not just, oh, that didn't happen. Matt Murdock, after basically having the worst 10 years of anybody, has just decided, you know what, he's not going to mope anymore. He's actually just going to try and deal with it and move past it. So it's actually kind of a clever way to do this. And all of his friends actually think he's even more crazy than he was before, because no one should go through what he went through and do it with a smile on his face.
Andy Diggle's crappy writing got the mope right out of him.
But yeah, Shadowland killed his unhappiness. But again, I do love the way that they are showing his powers. And
the art's fun.
The art is great. It's Paulo Rivera.
It's lending a lot to the tale they're telling, I think.
And it's got the old feel. And this particular issue, it's got Captain America in it. And that leads me to my next pick, Captain America #2, Ed Brubaker and Steve McNiven. The first issue was a really solid first issue. It got me interested. There's something going on here that ties into the past. Because, you know, Captain America, he's been around for a while. And just absolutely stunning art by Steve McNiven. He always delivers. I hope that they can get 6 issues out before they have a late issue or a fill-in or something. I don't know what kind of lead time they got. But it takes a long time to draw with the kind of detail that you've got here. So it's well worth the wait, even if it doesn't ship on time. But, you know, I'm in a kind of a Captain America place these days. I thought the movie was great. This has been a great comic. Next up is Captain America Corps, because I'm continuing with my Captain America theme here. I really liked the first 2 issues of this.
Did you? Okay.
It's not everybody's cup of tea. It's Roger Stern. It's a very kind of classic tale. They've got Captain America or Captain America variants from all over the time stream. Okay. Couple of Caps from the future. They've got U.S. Agent. They've got Bucky Cap from the present. They've got Steve Rogers from actually Captain America #1 when he still had the Triangle Shield. So one of the Elders of the Universe has assembled all the Captain Americas together because Captain America's body was stolen out of time and space from when it was frozen. And it's causing disruptions that threaten the very time stream, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of some weird cosmic-y thing. It's set in the future at the moment where if Captain America had not been thought out by the Avengers, how everything would have gone wrong. So these guys are coming to the present of an alternate timeline. It's not as complicated as I just made it sound. But it's pretty good if you like time-hopping adventures, if you like kind of old-fashioned superhero stories. This is pretty solid. And the last of my Captain Americas is Ultimate Fallout #6. This has got the Captain America cover. This book is completely and totally unnecessary.
Looks like they're just trying to set up the new Ultimates.
It's bridging the gap between the end of Death of Ultimate Spider-Man and the new Ultimate Universe relaunch that's coming up. So they're putting in place the new X-Men characters, the new Avengers team or Ultimates team, and the new Spider-Man. So you probably don't need any of this. I'm sure all of it's going to be summed up, but there have been some nice moments throughout. All the stuff with Peter's funeral was great. Seeing how people are dealing with Spider-Man's death was really good. The Avengers stuff has not been quite as interesting, but it is definitely setting stuff up that hopefully will pay off in those individual books. Okay. Next up is Hulk. Like I've said many times, I'm surprised that I'm reading a book about Red Hulk still, but this is a great book. This is Jeff Parker is turned Thunderbolt Ross into a really interesting, kind of complicated character. He's not just sort of a one-note screaming army general. I mean, he's a real, true patriot and hero, and you can see in this book why he's on the Avengers. Okay. Because he's smart, he's powerful, and he doesn't take crap from anybody because he's a general. Next up, it's Goodbye Green Lantern Corps, and the cover you've got here is, of course, the wrong cover because DC solicits for all of the Green Lantern stuff.
Which cover is that? Is that the very one?
That's actually the previous issue. So DC's online solicits, they wound up changing and shuffling all this stuff around right before the relaunch. But this is the last issue of Green Lantern Corps. It's actually written by, it looks like it's written by several people.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe illustrated by several people and written by Scott Collins. But this was a great book. I'm glad it's coming back. It's been a great ride. A lot of people didn't think you could support 2 Green Lantern books, and 63 issues later, I think this book proved them wrong. So This is the last issue. It's a good send-off. It's got kind of a mopey cover. We'll show it to you since we don't have a graphic. And but I'm a big Green Lantern fan. So
no, really? Were you?
Me. I know, it's hard to believe.
I didn't know that.
Next up is Hellblazer. This has been a great book all along. It's Peter Milligan. This issue's illustrated by Simon Bisley. This is a one-shot. They've wrapped up the previous storyline, so this is a great place if you are interested in trying the book. This is probably the place to try it, because Simon Bisley's got fantastic artwork. Peter Milligan's doing a great job, and I believe this is just a one-shot story. So if you just want to sample it, if you just want a little taste of it, normally they're 5-issue arcs, so you have to wait a while, but this one will just be one nice, scary John Constantine story. Next up, X-Men Schism #3. I bought the first issue because of Carlos Pacheco, but the story was pretty solid. Second issue, Frank Cho art. Again, the story was really good. I'm expecting this to be pretty good too. I've not been impressed by a lot of Jason Aaron's other stuff, but he's just doing a great job on this book.
Cool.
And I'm really excited to see where this goes and how this leads into the new X-Men status quo that's down the line some. Okay. So that's my stack. What's the top of yours?
Now the top of my stack, we're a little...
You're going to squish your stack.
I am going to squish my stack. I got a nice big thick book here with Invincible Compendium 1 this time around. That Walking Dead compendium was, or what they call it, a compendium, or was it the omnibus? I think it was compendiums. Yeah. It's 48 issues, wildly popular, and got a lot of people into the series. This, I'm glad they're doing it with Invincible. Mm-hmm. It's issues 0 through 47. This is a nice big chunk of story, and I'll tell you what, this is how I read Invincible. Was someone gave me the first 6 trades, which that's the first 36 issues, I guess, and then they gave me, the rest in individual issues, and I read them in about 2 or 3 days. So I think this, if you've been thinking you want to do Invincible, yes, they're reprinting it again. I mean, they've done trades, they've done those hardcovers. There's so many different ways in which you can buy it. This is probably the most value for your buck. $64.99 for 48 issues.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
So if you've been thinking you want to buy Invincible, swing on in and pick this up. I am excited about this. While I have read them, I think I'm buying one myself because it looks nice on the shelf.
It's a great book. Heavy, too, though.
You mean like the story's heavy, or this is literally heavy? Because I think I could probably cripple someone with this.
A little bit of both.
Okay, yeah, agreed. It's lighter in the earlier parts of the book.
Yeah.
But as it gets later on, it gets
Invincible's
heavier in tone. But yes, this is, I really think I could cripple someone.
Yeah.
So don't make me mad.
We've both throw this book at you. Man, he will. I've seen him do it. I saw him kill a man with Walking Dead.
You think you're invincible? Yeah, we'll find out. Here, what do you got?
My top actually surprises me a little bit. I was kind of debating what I was going to pick.
You spent 20 minutes just trying to figure out what you're going to do over there.
But at the end, the one that I'm just kind of strangely looking forward to is Uncanny X-Men. I never thought I'd say that. But again, Kieran Gillen has been doing a fantastic job on this book. This Fear Itself tie-in has been great. The last issue was full of just great, oh my God moments. And he knows how to write an X-Men book the way that X-Men books used to be written. It's great stuff. I mean, a lot of people have a problem with Greg Land on the artwork. I have no problem with it. I don't mind photo referencing. But Kieran Gillen, when I first heard he was taking this book over, I'm thinking of his work on Phonogram and some of his indie work and not really understanding it. But this guy knows his Marvel Comics. He knows his superheroes. I'm actually going to call it right now. We've had sort of wondering whether or not Gillen or Nick Spencer or Jeff Lemire is going to be the new Scott Snyder. I'm calling Kieran Gillen the new Scott Snyder.
All right.
Because he actually made me read and like Uncanny X-Men.
And we've had, 2 or 3 books just this week alone? So
yeah, he's got a couple of books. He's on fire. Check out his stuff. Check out Phonogram. It's a very different kind of stuff. But someone who actually gets me excited to read Uncanny X-Men has got to get at least one pick of the week as far as I'm concerned.
Sounds good. Well, that is your Week in Geek. Hey, it looks like we're not done. We got a little more Week in Geek for you here. We got a special guest with us tonight. We got Tom Hutchison from Big Dog Inc.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Glad to have you. You're our first guest on the show.
Oh, that's great. It's my first time in the shop, so first time on the show. It's perfect.
Right on. So we got a couple of things going on with you this week. Well, first, do you want to participate in our Week in Geek? What have you been reading?
Oh, what have I been reading? Well, I've been reading things that are late, probably for the most part. The last book that I picked up that I've loved, and I wish I could keep it on time, was Guarding the Globe, the Invincible spin-off.
Oh, sure.
Which I'm really liking it, but 4 months between issues is a little brutal.
it had been popular, but you're right. It doesn't come out on time.
Yeah, just crushes it. It's still a fun book, especially if you like Invincible. The characters are cool. Kirkman's really trying to create his own universe. I mean, really trying to create it now.
And I think he's doing a great job with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you like fun superhero stuff, Invincible.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that book's evolved well, I think, where it got from where he was a kid and it was a little lighter, and then got, basically went along with his growing up and the man he's becoming. And I think that's really interesting to be able to, for him to have been able to even pursue that path.
Absolutely.
So many comics don't.
Yeah, character growth is immense. I mean, if your characters can't grow, you get kind of some of what we have in the market today. Growth is huge.
And then we know you're just trying to push cartoons and action figures and that sort of thing. And we were talking off camera about why didn't they just leave Dick Grayson?
Correct. Yes, it was the perfect opportunity to advance a character in a way that really hasn't been done before. And forget the reboot. Just leave it Dick Grayson and go.
I agree. I completely agree. So are you reading anything else?
Off and on. Like I said, I love Invincible. I've been picking that. I started as trades, so I pick up as trades. So I'm definitely behind. I think the last trade I had was the 14th. So I'm kind of just at the end of the Viltrumite War. So it's
that was a good story.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I mean, definitely, like you said, it was lighter at the beginning. This war stuff is pretty messed up.
Yes, absolutely.
Still fun, but messed up. Messed up. I mean, he definitely seems to have a long-term plan with this book, and
I like that.
He's just punching through it.
And you can see that too as you're reading the book. It sort of it leaves little crumbs, little breadcrumbs as it's moving along.
Yes.
Like, oh, well, what was that? Oh, you're going to find out because it's going to come to fruition at some point in time.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But hey, well, we're talking about everybody else's stuff. Let's talk about your stuff.
Absolutely.
We've got Penny for the Soul, or Penny for Your Soul, the trade paperback, Volume 1. We've got that in stock today.
Yes, you've got it a little early.
That's a little bit early. You said you got it in, so we've got it here. It's a great cover by Joe Gisko. Really looks fantastic.
Yeah, he knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, just great stuff. So we've got that on the shelf this week. Do you want to talk about Penny for Your Soul a little bit?
Sure. Penny for Your Soul was our flagship title for Big Dog Inc. It started back last May. We knew right off the bat we weren't going to make a monthly schedule, so we set ourselves up. We're going to do this book every 2 months. That was our goal. If we could do it every 2 months, we're good to go. And I was a little nervous about it because bi-monthly books don't always, people forget, whatever, like we talked about with Guarding the Globe. But with us, it didn't really seem to matter. Our numbers were really good when it came out, and we stuck to that schedule. We hit it every 2 months. We hit it.
Oh, good.
So number 7 just finished up this last May, and now we've got our first trade, which is really awesome to have.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks great. It really looks fantastic. And like I was saying before, so many of these small press things, guys are just kind of mailing it. This stuff looks great.
Thank you.
Tom, you've really done some good work here. And now this isn't the only book you've done. You got a few other things coming.
Yeah, Critter is our superhero book. It just actually released last week.
Yep, we've still got some copies.
Awesome. That's great. We've been hearing great things from it. It's been flying off the shelves all over the place.
We sold out. We only have extra copies because you brought me some today.
Fantastic. I like sellouts. We can always restock you. So that's like we talked about with Invincible. It's a fun superhero book. Critter is all about that. It's a fun superhero book. It's light. It's easy. You're not bogged down in endless continuity. There's no blood. There's no cursing. Maybe I'm turning a lot of you off because it sounds boring, but it's old school superheroes. If you're a fan of like 70s, 80s superhero stuff, it's just good old school fun. And she's a local. She's a Michigan local from Greenville. So.
I saw that when I was looking at the first issue. Like, oh, she's from Michigan.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So. Yeah, and then the other book that we have that'll be coming out in October, I'm writing a Western reimagining of The Wizard of Oz called The Legend of Oz, The Wicked West. And it is more or less as you would expect from the title. It's a Western telling of Western fantasy. It's still fantasy. Instead of ruby slippers, she's got ruby spurs, ruby bullets, that sort of thing.
Oh, all right. Oh, cool.
So we're definitely we have the basic concept of Oz, but we're kind of twisting it up, putting our own spin on it.
Sure.
There'll be some elements from the book that I thought were cool, the original book, the Frank L. Baum book, that we're kind of bringing in, and again, putting our spin on it. But people that know the book will kind of understand. They'll get, oh, I remember that. Okay. But there were things that weren't in the movie, so I think that'll be cool that they're kind of depicted maybe for the first time in comics. I know some elements have been done in random Oz books over the years.
Sure.
But
because it's public domain at this point,
it is public domain, yes. So as long as we don't make our stuff look like the MGM, we're good to go. Yeah.
Now you say you're using some things from the book, singular rather than plural. Are you exploring all of the books or just the Wizard of Oz? Yeah,
at this point for this miniseries, at least at this point, we're really only going to concentrate on the primary stuff.
Okay.
I'm well aware of all the other books. There's a compendium of like all 16 of them in one giant paperback thing, and I've got that. So characters like the glass cat and all that kind of stuff. I'd love to be able to use them, but you got to tell your story first.
Absolutely.
So while there certainly may be some little hidden things throughout the book that maybe will the people that know Oz will catch it. Oh, there's that, yeah. The field mice, for example, things like that. We still got to tell our story, and so that's the primary goal. We'll see what happens with sales, and if we can continue and do more, we'd love to do more because we love doing this.
Cool, because it's just a miniseries for now.
Just a 6-issue miniseries for right now, yes.
Okay, but you're already getting good buzz on it.
Absolutely, yes. We've been taking it to shows. We've taken it to some retailers like yourself.
Yep.
Everybody that checks it out is their eyes are kind of get big and all.
Sure.
Wow, this is, as far as we understand, there's never been anything done as far as a Western interpretation of Oz, and it's been a lot of fun to write. So I hope it's a lot of fun to read.
It looked interesting to me when I first saw the first couple of little pictures. I was like, huh, all right, I'm gonna check that out.
Excellent.
And then we've got some 8-page previews. That
you do have 8-page previews, yes, absolutely. So feel free to come in and get one for yourself.
Yep, yeah. We will have those tomorrow. We've only got so many of them, so come in if this is something that you think you're interested in. Come in and ask for it.
Absolutely.
And we'll make sure and take care of it. And Tom signed those copies, so we have signed copies.
Yes. So at minimum, you can just take it and put it back on eBay and see what you can do with it.
Yeah, there you go. We don't try to totally encourage that, but and now you also brought me something else.
What else did I bring you? Oh, we brought you some #1s from Penny for Your Soul.
Yep.
We have second prints of the book. So if you don't necessarily want to dive into the entire thing at once and buy the trade, you can come in. I think we've got like about 10 copies here. So the first 10 people that come on in, you'll get a free copy of the first issue that you can kind of try out.
Yep.
Get a gauge if it's your kind of book. If it's your kind of book, come back in and you can get the entire 7-issue trade.
No, it's 7 issues in here.
It is 7 issues, yes.
Oh, okay. Now, is this the whole story, or do you got more? Is this an ongoing for you?
Well, it's sort of an ongoing, but it is set up in recurring miniseries.
Okay.
So since this was our first book, we had no idea what to expect as far as orders and numbers. So we wrote it as a complete story with the open end. Should sales warrant, we would continue, and they warrant. So the new series, the follow-up, is called Penny for Your Soul, False Prophet, and it will be starting in a couple of weeks.
Excellent. Well, come on in, pick up Penny for Your Soul Volume 1, or just try the
I'll give it a try.
Try the #1, and Tom, it's great having you on the show tonight.
I appreciate
you coming by.
Thank you very much.
So definitely check out more stuff from Big Dog Inc. Critter, Wizard of Oz, and Penny for Your Soul. Yeah, thanks again.
Thank you.
And now that is your Week in Geek.